Hello, and welcome to Heathen Moments. The second of the 9 noble virtues we are going to look at is discipline. Throughout time, the meaning of discipline has probably remained the same. Since these guidelines are written with the self in mind, I'm going to say it is less discipline in general. It boils down to self-discipline. Let's take a look at the very short definition of self-discipline in the Merriam-Webster Dictionary. Correction or regulation of oneself for the sake of improvement. The application of self-discipline is nearly endless in our lives. Without it, we end up making poor choices that limit our life. At the same time, self-discipline is not exactly the easiest thing to learn, especially if you were never taught this skill as a child. Out of all of my family members who had a part of my upbringing, I have to say those who taught me the most about self-discipline were my grandparents. My grandmother was a teacher who tried to help me no matter how long it took to master my problem subjects. My grandfather taught me the harmonica and all about computers when the Commodore 64 was new. There's an indication as to how old I am. My grandparents both had very calm demeanors and showed me through their endless patience in teaching me new skills, the practical application of self-discipline. Through practicing the skills my grandparents taught me, I did eventually get good on different levels at those skills. Their calm demeanor also rubbed off on me, something I needed severely as a child. In my 20s, I was full of anger and hate for just about anyone and anything. I didn't realize at that time I was just hiding behind those emotions, but it took me time to figure that out. I also had to actively change my opinions on many subjects in order to grow beyond that anger, which was no easy task, since I had chosen to engrave that anger so deeply. There's a joke that goes along the lines of, "I don't discriminate, I hate everyone equally." And that is exactly how I thought I was. Getting that mentally out of myself took a great amount of self-discipline. To this day, I sometimes have to fight back the first opinion that comes to my mind when I dislike something or someone in order to give it or them a chance. I think many of you know exactly how this is. A final example of self-discipline that I can think of that pertains to my life and that of many others is being a responsible parent. This in itself is a feat that is tested daily in the life of a family. It can take a tremendous amount of self-discipline to keep your temper in check when your child does something really wrong. Simply having patience in certain situations requires changing the way one may have reacted before having a child or children. Even in marriage, I know self-discipline plays an important part in building a lasting relationship. This can really spill over into any relationship one has with another human being or an animal, such as your pet. I think any pet owner has had to fight back yelling at the dog or cat for leaving a surprise in the middle of the night on the bedroom floor, or creating a mess in the kitchen while enjoying those last morsels of yesterday's scraps found in the garbage. I'm sure many of you can find experience that required you to use self-discipline on a daily basis. The improvement of oneself is really an essential part of honoring yourself and your ancestors. So keep yourself in check and use self-discipline to better yourself. Until next time, Skål.